your wedding day. Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. So today I am featuring my friend Katie here. She is an actual bride-to-be, so I thought she was a perfect fit. And the first thing I'm doing is pushing back her hair so we don't give her, you know, ashy looking roots. Yep, get it girl. and with her foundation. So make sure the hair is all out of the face. And I'm using a primer here that is an illuminizing primer from Dr. Brandt. You don't have to use this exact one, just find one that is going to make your face glow. And it is very important to start with a clean and moisturized face. You don't want any flaky skin that's going to catch your foundation or concealer in an unflattering way. You are going to get your photo taken a lot, so you want to make sure that you got a good enough as base that you can have. And I am just softly putting this on her face. For some reason it looks like really hard. I promise you guys I was doing a very soft touch because that could add some premature wrinkles. It might irritate the skin, and you don't want to have, you know, a roughed out face right before your big day. And if you are doing makeup, if you're watching this so you can do makeup on other people, if you're going to be using your bare hands like I am, make sure that you wash them with hot water and soap for 30 seconds. Just make sure you get all those germs off because you don't want to make them break out or anything. That is nasty. So, but yes, this part is very important. So Katie has some pretty nice brows naturally, so she doesn't really require a lot of maintenance work here, but I am just brushing them up to keep them from being unruly. And then I am using a brow pomade. I'm just using a $3 one here from e.l.f. and it's in medium brown to match her hair color. And I am just kind of shaping it a little bit, filling in some, you know, bare spots. And then I'm just taking concealer to shape it to make sure nothing is crooked or cracked or anything like that. But if you have like virtually no eyebrows like I do, it's totally fine if it's a little bit more dramatic. But try to keep it as natural looking as possible because you don't want to look back at your wedding photos and be like, ooh girl, did I use a Sharpie? Did I use pomade? I don't know, you tell me. So I am just preparing Katie's eyelids for the eyeshadow with a eyeshadow primer from Urban Decay. Your concealer works just fine if you want to save some money. And then I will be doing a trick today with tape. If you are pretty familiar with beauty tutorials here on YouTube, you've definitely seen this. It is going to feel like a facelift, so it's going to take her a little bit of getting used to, but you just put it there under the eyes and it kind of carves out that eyeshadow, keeps it very clean, and you can blend it out so it's not such a harsh line, but I really like the way that it looks, especially since we won't be using eyeliner today. So I am using 3 different colors on Katie's crease here. I am just using the Desert Dusk palette. This palette can be a little expensive, so I just wanted to show you colors in case you wanted to find a cheaper, more affordable version, which is totally fine. And I first started with that orange kind of shade here, and I built it up a little bit with that darker red, and then to smooth it out and lighten the color, I used that white color. And I used a big fluffy brush. Well, not super big and fluffy, but they do have some crease brushes that are a little bit fluffier at the end, and that's what I used to kind of smooth that out. And then once I did that, I took a clean blending brush and kind of blended that out just a little bit. You don't have to worry too much on the eyelid because we will be covering that. And I used that very light shade to go right under her brow bone to highlight it and smooth out the other edges. So using Katie's concealer and a flat eyeliner brush, I am carving out that eyelid there. This is the sort of technique you use for a cut crease look, and we are not using a cut crease look, but I wanted sort of a thick base like this to build up the glittery shade that we will be putting on. and this just helps. I did it across the lid, and it kind of carves out more of that little cat eye without the eyeliner look that we are going for. And I just met it there with the tape. Take your time. If you have hooded eyes or smaller eyes, you can go a little bit above. I learned that trick from Nikki Tutorials, even though that is not how my eye shape is, but it is very important to know different eye shapes if you plan on doing makeup on other people. So at this point, we're pretty familiar with this white shade here, and we are going to be introducing this very pretty, shimmery, glittery pink shade, and I am just packing on that white shade as a base for the glitter because unfortunately it's not opaque enough to stand out on its own, so it has something to latch onto here. And whenever I put on the glitter, I do it in a very careful motion just so I don't have as much cleanup afterwards. And I just kind of swiped it on there and packed it on there so it built up. Now you can put as much or as little as you want. It depends on how glamorous you want your eyes to be for your wedding day. And if you do have fallout, that is sort of the reason why I did the eyes first instead of doing the face first. There is no right or wrong order to how you put on your makeup. Everybody does it differently, and I just wanted to do it this way today because I knew I was going to be using this glittery shade, and I just didn't want to have to deal with trying to wipe off glitter underneath her eyes, you know, the whole ordeal. So taking this maroon shade here, I'm just going to be popping that onto her outer corner to add a little bit of dimension. You want to go a little into the crease, but not too much. And then after you get that on both of your eyes, you're going to take a big fluffy brush and blend that together. And then I took this other glittery shade and popped that on the center of Katie's lid just to add a little extra something there to blend the darker color into the lighter pink glittery color. And then I did pack a little more of that pink glitter towards the front of her lid, and then of course blended everything out. So you can peel that tape off. We are heading onto our face makeup, and we are going to be doing some color correcting today because Katie had some bags under her eyes, and we want to brighten and lift that purple there. So I'm using yellow to do this, although if you have different color undertones than her or a different skin tone, I would look up what works for you because you don't want to use the wrong color, and you especially don't want to use the wrong color on your wedding day. And then Katie also did have a little bit of red around her nose, so I added some green there, and this is also what you use if you have a pimple. And you're going to blend it out, but don't blend the colors out too much to where you don't see it anymore. You do want some of that color there. And then I am using Katie's Maybelline Fit Me foundation to just go over, and I'm using a Real Tech's beauty sponge, which I really love beauty sponges, beauty blenders, because they give you a very light look. It makes the makeup more buildable, and it doesn't look so harsh on the skin. In my opinion, I feel like you look more airbrushed. And then after you get that foundation on, you're going to be using concealer over the parts where you color corrected and maybe some little problem areas as well, and of course blend every last thing out. So we are going to be baking our face today because the cakes aren't going to be the only thing baked today. All right, I know, I'm sorry, that's super corny. Anyway, I am just using this setting powder, and I am going to be taking that beauty sponge and really packing that on underneath her eye. And then I'm doing a little bit on the chin and along the jawline. If you have some areas that are more oily than others, like sometimes that might be our forehead, go ahead and put some up there, and you're going to let it sit for at least 5 minutes so it can take out some of those oils. And you're just going to take a big fluffy brush and fluff it all off, and now we can move on to adding some more dimensions and colors to our face. So the whole way that we are going to make this an overall glowy look is the bronzer. So I'm just using a $4 bronzer from Rimmel London, and I'm using a bronzer brush from e.l.f. It's kind of angled, so I really like that. And I'm putting it on where the sun naturally hits, which are your cheeks, your nose, your temples, and your chin. I did add a little, just a little bit, to the jawline to do a tiny bit of shaping, but this is not contouring, so don't do it like as if you're contouring. And I am putting it on her cheeks kind of like I would put on blush, and it looked and it blended very nicely once we did put on blush, which I did use these two colors here from this nude blush palette from BH Cosmetics, which is so lovely. I love it. It's one of my favorites, and it really gave her this glow to her skin. And then I did use this highlighting palette from BH Cosmetics, another favorite, and I use this color here, actually surprisingly in the color Glow, and I just did a little bit on her cheekbones and the tip of her nose, but I didn't want to overdo it. You can, like I said, it's your preference, be super glowing at this part if you want to, but I really wanted it to look more natural than look more just like boom glam sort of thing. And finishing up the eye look, I'm going under the waterline here with the taupe color, and then taking that glittery pink that we used earlier and just packing that over there. And then the highlighter that we just put on her face, I'm putting that in her inner corner to really open and brighten her eyes. So I did Katie's lashes off camera, and this is a Kiss Lash Couture in Little Black Dress. And this adhesive from Kiss is amazing, seriously. I fell asleep in my makeup one time, not recommended, but I accidentally did it, and my lashes stayed on as if I had just put them on. But then to top everything off, we are going in with this Maybelline Superstay Matte Liquid Lipstick in the color Seductress. You know, it's a tongue twister for me. And I really liked this color because it is sort of like a pink nude. Like, it's not too pink and bright where it looks a little cartoony or corny, and it's not too nude where it's going to wash you out. I mean, it was just that perfect shade. And I picked a liquid lipstick that's matte because you are going to be obviously kissing your boo at the altar. You don't want, you know, to turn around and walk down the aisle and then your lipstick be all over your cheek, because, you know, some people kiss that intensely. Don't do that at weddings. It's really weird, but I mean, it's your day. Do whatever you want. All right, that was just my quick little side note / advice from a former bride. And also, you're going to be talking a lot, so you're going to want something that stays. And then once you get that liquid lipstick on, just set your makeup with a setting spray, and I use an illuminizing one to add that little extra glow. And that is all that I have for you guys today. I hope that you have a wonderful wedding day, and I cannot wait to celebrate Katie's with hers. And I'll link her social stuff in the description box, so if you want to follow along and get updates at it all and look at her pose. Yes, girl, get it. All right, you guys have a blessed and beautiful day.
Bye.
Bye. Peace and blessings. Peace and blessings.